Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 75 of the Talking with the Dad podcast this evening. This is going to be a very interesting show if you're in a very niche market. So we're not going to start off with that right away. Steve, how was your day today, Stevie?
You know what? My day was actually pretty shitty, bro.
Really? Walk me through it. What happened?
So it was great. Woke up this morning, spent time with my family, and then I left for work.
Okay.
Everything was downhill after that. I have dealt with every abusive elderly person that lives in that town, and it was horrible. It was like one after another, like The Walking Dead. They came into the school demanding service. And I'm like, ma'am, you don't even have a service plan here. This is
yeah, you have no educational plan here, woman.
This is not Walmart. You're misunderstanding. So, like, otherwise than that, it's been great. You know,
okay.
The town that the school is in is probably going to get shut down. That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, I would say so. So it's gonna be good for you guys, I guess. You guys get another 2-week vacation, I assume.
You forget, sir. I didn't get a 2-week vacation last time. I was there up until the point until they closed the school down.
And then you got 2-week vacation, right?
I got like 6 weeks. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
but otherwise than that,
it was only supposed to have
good.
2.
Everything's good, man. You know, gonna get the monitor here pretty soon. My son lost a second tooth.
Wow.
He took it out himself like a little soldier. So I'm training
savage.
him up, bringing him up the right way. You know, like he doesn't say things like my feelings or dad,
I need help. No, try not to do this by myself.
How about you? What'd you do today, man?
Oof, you know me. I went and got a buffalo chicken sandwich at the stop at the bank.
Right. What were you doing there?
I had the deposit money. I had a bunch of cash in my wallet that I just didn't fucking feel like being there anymore.
Okay.
Just from various endeavors.
Yeah, selling drugs would do that to you.
No, never sold anything in my entire life. And then
you got your car back.
I did. Yeah. I did get my car back. It's I love driving my car. You know, trips that should take 45 minutes have been taking an hour and 45 minutes because I'm just driving around. It's great. I genuinely like driving. I do. I really, really do. People see it as a chore, and I legitimately, genuinely like driving.
That's one thing I didn't get, man. When I was in LA, like other than driving in the 405, the 118 and stuff like that, I really didn't enjoy driving. Like I would get off the 405 like around Santa Monica, drive up the streets for a certain amount of time. Just it's relaxing, dude. It's relaxing.
Yeah. So the way with LA, right? When I drove there, it's very interesting because it's like very grid, right? Everything is in a grid until you get outside of like on the north side of LA where Angeles Forest is, and then it's like the best driving roads in the country.
Oh, dude, when you're driving to Vegas, there's a certain point, like just once you get out of a certain point of LA and you're legit on your way to Vegas, you can open it up to 75. Hell, no one's going to stop you. Go 95 if you want to.
They use that. I know exactly what road you're talking about. They use that road for high speed testing for cars.
Yeah. Now there's one way station where you got to be careful at. I always forget.
No,
where it's
well,
at.
I mean, what I'm talking about, they shut the road down legally. They, they buy a permit to shut the road down, and then they do high speed testing. There's a car recently, I forget the name of it, that has been rumored to have broken the land speed record for a production car at 300 and something miles per hour. And they did testing on that road, but they never recorded it. They're just like, oh, hey, yeah, we did it. And then some guy was like, all right, I'll shut the road down again, but I'm gonna be there to record it this time. And they haven't quite sent the response back yet.
Completely off topic here. Did you see, is it the Virgin billionaire guy with the new bullet train? Have you seen the new bullet?
No.
Yeah. Don't look it up now. It's just going to consume your time because I could possibly have that information wrong, but looks pretty amazing if it was from Virgin, man. They've improved on the actual design from the bullet train in Japan. If I'm going to die anyway, it's going to be this way. And the fact is, it's a 2-seat car means I could take Santana with me, which is perfect.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look into this right now because the articles that I see are from August of this year.
Yeah.
How could you take the bullet train from Japan and improve it?
So funny you should say that. So when I was watching it on Good Day America, didn't mean to plug them, but that's where I watched it on. They actually have streamlined it where you don't have to share the car with so many people, right? So this is supposed to be the next step in luxury traveling around not just America, but the world, where you theoretically, Zach and I can get into a car with each other going so many hundreds of miles an hour and not kill each other. And that's the experience right there. Just you and one person. And it's faster. And apparently it runs on less energy. Now, how do those things make sense? I don't know.
None of that makes sense, but this is what I'm saying. The bullet train in Japan is on average 1 second early. It has never been late in the entire time that it's ran.
Listen, are you going to doubt the guy that came up to Virgin Megastore, came up with Virgin Airlines?
Yes.
Have you ever flown on Virgin Airlines?
No, I hear it's really, really sick.
Yeah, you don't know. It's amazing. I sat by the bathroom and I've never felt more comfortable in my entire life than I did on this flight. It was absolutely amazing. I won't hear any of your nonsense when it comes to this topic. That man's a saint, all right? He was the only shark afterwards, obviously, to come in and do business with Ring. He's clearly a visionary.
Sure. I mean, Richard Branson, he is what it is, right? I don't really care.
He's a crazy old dude that lost.
Crazy old man. You know, like it's just absolutely insane. I have no interest.
You got to do me one favor. When you grow old, man, will you promise to grow that type of haircut?
Just what is it? Man. I
look at his hair, man. It's the blowout of blowouts, man. Like it's clearly the look of a swinger. This is a guy that's like, I'll marry. Did you pull up his picture right away and see what I'm talking about? Like he's that,
I know what Richard Branson looked like, but I couldn't put a haircut on him.
He's killing it. No, if you ever do find the footage, Joe, of if it's him, I don't know which company it is, but their version of the bullet train, it looks pretty sick, dude. It looks pretty sick.
Those things just never happen. I don't know.
Yeah. Are you saying it's going to go the same way as the Japanese earthquake-proof house?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have that unlocked, though, in the U.S.
Do we?
Yeah, there's some technologies that, like, you counterweight a house. So, like, instead of a basement, there's a small counterweight under a house. And then if an earthquake hits, it shakes the opposite direction of an earthquake and keeps your house settled, yeah.
Patent pending, or is this something?
No, I'm pretty positive if it's in play in San Francisco, I believe.
Man, I want to go to San Fran and get a cup of coffee, man.
Never had it. Sounds like an awful experience with all the shit on the floor, but
no, meth. It's meth on the floor.
No. San Francisco, there's human shit everywhere. There's an app that tracks us so you don't walk into it. Did you know that?
No, I thought that was a Skid Row in LA thing, man. Like actually,
no, this is a San Francisco thing.
This is starting to get crazy, man. What are we talking about tonight, man? We just went down a very dark hole. Right? What is the topic?
So we're talking about the CDL this evening. Almost everyone has announced their rosters. There's been some stuff going on. A lot of activity on Scump's Twitter about some stuff. So we're gonna go over it. Let's do the. You want to do the drama first, or do you want to do the? You want to go over the rosters and
let's do the rosters first, man, because I want to get into the meat of it, and then we can get into the drama.
All right. So where we're sitting right now, everyone has announced their roster other than Florida and Paris. Now,
okay,
I've heard rumors that Paris was having a really, really hard time getting a team together. So it is what it is. I don't know what's going on with Florida. I just don't. I haven't heard any rumors coming out of that side of the CDL. As far as I know, there's nothing going on, and that's an issue. So we're not sure. But Atlanta, very strong team. I think it's pretty much the same team from last year, other than they added Arcides, which makes their team even stronger, right? I believe Arcides was on the Huntsman last year. Yep. So it's Simpa, Beezy, Celium, Arcides. They have I don't know who this guy is as a Sibilance as a substitute. Don't care. They have Crowder and RJ as coaches. Now Crowder's a very good coach, has been for a very, very long time. That's a very, on paper, that is maybe the strongest team in the league. On paper,
Okay.
they were very competitive last year. It was always Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago last year, and I can imagine it's probably going to be very similar this year. But that's where Atlanta sits. If you're an Atlanta FaZe fan, you're happy, right? You're very, very happy. You didn't have to make any moves, and you made a move that made an upgrade. So yeah, Atlanta FaZe, fantastic. I'm going to pick them in the top 3. Then we're on to the Dallas Empire. Again, a fantastic team. The only move that they made was to drop Clayster, because it went from 5v5 to 4v4. Now, admittedly, I probably would have taken Clayster over Illy or Hook, but still very good team. So they have Shotzi, who was the MVP from last year, Hook, Illy, and Crimsix, and Rambo as the coach. Now you don't know who Rambo is, but Rambo is one of the OGs. He played on the team with Big Timer and Merc and Scump at one point. That was the team. Those 4 were the team for a long time. It was the strongest team maybe ever on paper. So he's the coach. He was a level designer at Sledgehammer Games for a while, after being a professional player, and he bowls professionally, golfs professionally, and is now literally, I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding on that. Yeah, and now is a coach for the Dallas Empire. They're the champions. They think they can go back to back. I don't doubt them. That is a dynasty level team in my opinion. Probably if they don't have to make any moves, I would stick with that team until forever from now. Incredibly strong team. Florida Mutineers, no one signed at this moment. No information whatsoever. So we're not sure what's going on there. It kind of sucks. London Royal Ravens is Shawnee, Alex, Dylan, and Zero. Now, on paper, this isn't a very, very strong team. A lot of younger guys. I mean, the entire league is made up of younger guys, but a lot of young guys, all EU, no American players on there, which usually is a bad sign because NA is usually the best. But they performed really, really well last year, the Royal Ravens, and I expect them to perform well again this year. So I would take these guys inside the top 6. I don't know if I'd put them in the top 5, but I might give them number 6. LA Gorillas with Vivid, Apathy, Assault, and Silly. Now, admittedly, Apathy, Assault, and Silly are all very, very good players. Very good. They would be a star player on pretty much any team, in my opinion. I don't think this team works for that reason, pretty much. They all have, they're all their own very, very good players, and I don't know if they'll mesh well. Though this is pretty much a brand new team. The only player that they kept from last year is Vivid. Apathy came from Seattle. Assault and Silly came from Rocker, so they came from Minnesota. I find that to be an interesting team to watch. They might get my potential like comeback kids or like black horse of the league this year, the LA Gorillas. I think that's going to be a decent team.
Okay.
But I really don't know how they're going to mesh. I haven't seen them play together yet. LA Thieves, obviously new entry into the CDL, replacing the LA OpTic. The only thing that they have so far is TJ Halley, Kenny, Slasher, and Draza, but these guys are all there from last year. We're not exactly sure what this team is going to be, but I would expect TJ Halley and Kenny, and probably even Slasher, to be on that team. We're not sure what their 4th is going to be at the moment.
Okay.
Probably going to be a very, very good team, I would think. I don't think Nate Shot's going to put out a bad team. And if you have TJ Halley and Kenny at the helm, I think it would be an incredibly good team. Those two are very, very good, and they play well together. So Rockers, Attach, Major Maniac, Priesta, Accuracy. Priest is one of the most disgusting players in the league, if not potentially the best. I might put him number 2 to Shotzi as part of, or as far as pure, like raw, like young up and coming talent. They're both like absolutely incredible. So that team is going to be interesting only because they have Priesta.
Okay.
In my opinion, Attach is a very good player. I don't know who Major Maniac is, honestly. I've watched a lot of Call of Duty and a lot of professional Call of Duty. He might have went under a different name at some point, so maybe that's why I don't understand who it is. But No clue. And accuracy is also a very good player. And they have Saint as a coach, and Saint is one of the greatest minds inside of coaching, in my opinion. New York Subliners and us as New York fans, obviously, this is such a disappointing team. With the signing of Clayster, it's still a fairly disappointing team. Clayster's one of the GOATs, right? Clayster's one of the best players in Call of Duty, has been a staple, has been a name inside of the Call of Duty scene since as far back as I can remember, has always been that player. It's like, oh, we picked up Clayster and then won the next tournament, right? He's always that good and that influential. But Zuma is an okay player. Mac is an okay player, and Hydra, I don't know who that is. So he's a French player. I'm not sure who he is. Could be disgusting. You know, we're not sure. A lot of these kids come out of nowhere. Envoy was a very good example. He came out of nowhere and just came in and performed. I forget who it was that played for Florida that was a Halo pro. Came in Halo pro, incredible, and then went back to Halo because he hated playing for Florida. I wish I remembered that. So OpTic Chicago, obviously that's my team. I've been an OpTic fan for as long as I can remember. Scump, Formal, Envoy, Dashy, very, very good team. Very, very good. This is pretty much the Black Ops 4 team, where they had Crim6 and TJ Halley on there instead of Envoy, and then obviously it was 5v5. But Envoy, I think, is probably a better fit for this team. I think this team's gonna be incredible. They're in the top 3 for me. Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, all top three contenders, always will be. Paris Legion doesn't have a team. The Seattle Surge is Octane, Gunless, Pristini, and Looney. On paper, and I'll say this again the same way I said this last year, Seattle is a very strong team. Seattle's they were an incredibly strong team on paper last year and won like one game or something. They didn't win. So we'll see how Seattle is. I think Seattle, along with the Royal Ravens, are the teams to watch to really see where they are. And I think those teams will push the pace of what the meta is in this season. But I don't think Seattle will do well, even though on paper they should be a top 4 team. I would put Seattle as number 4 outside of the top 3. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do, right? And how they come off of last year and come into the year. And I think they're pretty much, it's pretty much a brand new team. Octane's the only player that stays. Toronto Ultra, we got Cammy, we got Kleenex, we got Methods, and we got Bance. I'm gonna be real with you. The stories I heard coming out of Toronto from last year were how if you played for Toronto, they forced you to live in Toronto. Everyone else is like, okay, well, you can live wherever you want. They forced you to live in Toronto. One guy had some family issues, had to leave, and they docked his pay for the time that he wasn't in Toronto. All the stuff that I've heard coming out of Toronto, and whether it's true or not, I'm not sure, because it's only here he said, she said at this point. If that's the case, I would not want to play for Toronto. I would rather
absolutely not.
I would rather be an analyst than play for Toronto. But Methods is still up there. He's a good character inside the scene, and you like to see him succeed and do well. So I wish Methods a lot of luck, but that team I think is going to be a bottom team, unfortunately. That's the rosters that we have so far. Okay. So we don't have Florida, we don't have Paris, and we don't have LA Thieves 100% confirmed yet. So that's where we sit. Now, a few staples missing, in my opinion. Okay. It's very sad. Karma obviously retired midway through last year, towards the end of last year. Karma is one of the best players to ever live. You could probably put him in any game, and that's the case in any game, essentially.
Right.
He won the first 2 opening tournaments with just random pickup teams for Black Ops so far. Because, when Black Ops launches, every one of the different teams throws a $25,000 tournament. And, that's kind of where they are. Karma won the first 2. Actually, the third one was tonight. I didn't get to lay eyes on it just yet. So we'll see. Karma might be going 3 for 3. Is one of the most talented players to ever play the game. and doesn't have a team this year is probably not going to compete. And, I'm curious to see where that goes. JCap, also not in here, was on the LA Optic last year, semi-unofficially, semi-officially retired. I think JCap is, again, one of the best players to ever do it. It's been a staple and a name inside the Call of Duty League for, I don't even know how long, literally as far back as I can remember. JCap is another one of those. I think he might be a 2-time, 3-time champion, something like that. Like Call of Duty World Champion. There's only been 6 of them or something. There's been 8 and he's won 2 of them.
Okay.
I think both of them with Crimsix. So yeah, very interesting. We're missing a few staples.
Let me ask you a question. If this was basketball or any other organized sport, I would ask you, have you heard anything about the LA Thieves? Like any rumblings on who their picks might be, anything like that at all? Come on, you're a guy in the know. I know you've heard something.
So Kenny for sure will be one of their players.
Okay.
Kenny technically was on loan from 100 Thieves to the LA Optic when he was signed to LA Optic. Okay. Kenny is one of those guys that Nate Shot really, really likes, really, really wants on his teams going forward, which I agree with. Kenny's a very, very good, a solid player to have in there. As far as that goes, no, there is no confirmations yet. I would think JCap gets signed to that team in some facet, whether it's a coaching role or a analyst role of some sort. But no, I haven't heard anything out of that camp at all.
And how is there a deadline on when you can have to declare your team? Like when you have to release the roster? Is there anything like that in play?
There is, but I don't know the date.
Okay.
I don't know the date at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure.
And this season's rolling out, so they're switching over to PC, correct?
Correct. Like it's going to be on PC, but with controller. You can pick the controller of your choice, but you have to be on a PC with a controller.
I'm going to go fanboy on you here for a second. I think they need to run it back with Scump and Shroud, but I'm pretty sure the results might be the exact same way. It'd be pretty close.
You're looking at a Lifeline Call of Duty player versus a Counter-Strike player. I agree. I think Scump wins again.
Yeah, as close, or do you think it'd be the margins would be a little bit
probably? It depends on how much Call of Duty Shroud's been playing,
Right.
And let's be fair, right? They were playing with celebrity counterparts as well.
Yeah.
So if you give Shroud
like a real partner,
like let's give him Skadoodle, right? As a player he's played with on Counter-Strike and such, and they have very good chemistry. And you give Seth Formal.
Right.
Then I think that it's a very, very close game. I think it's incredibly close because you're 2 of the best aimers in the world versus the 2 best Call of Duty players in the world, right? And I think that comes a long way, and I think it's a good game.
I would watch it for sure. So what's the drama? Give it to me.
We're going right into the drama. And how many more roster questions? Got it.
What is the drama?
So it's all coming out of Scump. Scump's the only person talking about it. Scump is the only person probably can afford to talk about it. Let's be fair. So tweeted out yesterday. I don't know what time. I don't have timestamps on. I haven't spoken publicly about this. Hold on. I'm sorry. I did my own words there. I'm not reading. I was inflecting.
You just went Fox Journal.
Okay, this is what he said. I haven't spoken of this publicly, really, but I was fined for playing Raid Shadow Legends during a sponsored stream. It was during the off season as well, which makes it worse. My channels are my channels. I should be able to do as I please, but apparently he can't. So Scump got fined by the Call of Duty League Commission for a sponsored stream after Modern Warfare Champs. That's where it starts. The next tweet follows. This is a separate tweet. It's not in the same thread. I didn't read this thread. The CDL also made us sign a player contract in front of them without allowing us to run it over by our lawyers at the player summit. It was a sign it now or you just can't play at Minnesota type exchange. I'm going to get fined for this too, but letting you all know. So basically this is the drama. Now, Crim6 responded with a very kind of cryptic tweet, but we figured it out very quickly. And by we, I mean me, because I'm the smartest person in the scene. He tweeted 59 out of 60. Now, what does that mean, you might ask? I would say
players
out of 60 players, saying that Scump is the one person that didn't sign the unionized contract. What they wanted to do is they wanted to get together and become a player union, and Scump is the only person who withheld from that. So that's an issue. Now, further on down the line, Scump did say that he's ready to sign the contract to become a union, a players association, and had told someone that recently. He also said that he was given very little information about it as to why he didn't sign it.
Yeah.
Also in here, so at one point, Black Ops 3 maybe, Scump and Censor had 1v1'd a number of times for some money, and then they at one point, I think 3 or 4 times 1v1 for whoever won, the loser had to buy them Yeezys, right? And, they're expensive shoes, but like still whatever, right? It's a bet, right? It's a bet. Yeezys make it an easy way to make a video out of it. They were told that they couldn't do that either. So the players couldn't play against other players for money. There's a lot of little iffy things going on.
Do you think the NBA would say LeBron James and Steph Curry, you guys cannot play against each other in your off season for money? Now, the only way the NBA would actually say something like that is they televise the game, and somehow they televise it on one of their participants, like TNT, TBS, or anywhere.
My issue is if you think LeBron and his best friend in the NBA, I don't know who it is. We'll say Steph Curry for the ease of conversation. Don't every once in a while go say you want to play pickup $100? Like, no, that's 100%. Insane, right? That's insane. That is literally fucking insane.
Yeah, the only way they would get in trouble for that, I'm telling you, hands down. We're not even talking about their own teams, right? Own management and dealing with that type of stuff, is if they televised it. I don't even think they would get in trouble even then.
I don't think they would either. I don't think they would either, because the NBA is like, wow, we're doing stuff in the offseason now. Sick, right? Like, but that happens, I'm sure, right? So yeah, there's a lot of issues going on here with the CDL. Right. No, this happened last year too. We spoke about this at length a little bit at one point. The CDL is a little bit overbearing with how that they treat their players, in my opinion. Now, notoriously, they did this as well with the Overwatch League. So their players had a very similar contract that they had to sign. There are stories of teams of players in the Overwatch League walking out of that signing without signing the contract. I haven't followed up. I'm not a big Overwatch fan, so I don't know. I know the Call of Duty scene very, very well, though.
Let me just break this down and just ask the questions, right? What does the CDL stand to lose from Scump and his boy playing private games and betting money on it? Like, there's got to be a negative somewhere. So if we're just assuming as the casual person, what could be the negative in your mind?
Nothing. There's nothing, right? So they were making videos on it, right? But this is how they make their money in the off season. I don't see an issue with that. Right. I don't. I personally do not. The only thing that, like, if the CDO wants, like, okay, here's the thing, right? The CDO doesn't control their private channels. The CDO is the commission for the league that they play in. Now, if they say, hey, you can't promote pokerstars.com because your audience is between X and X age, and it's not legal or healthy for them to know or understand or go about gambling,
right?
That's different, in my opinion. That's way different. But if you're like, bro, like, everyone plays 1v1s, everyone has played wager 1v1s. Like, it's a thing that in the Call of Duty community that you do, and it's down to its core, it's a thing, right? Like, I don't understand where the CDL can come in and say, hey, I'm gonna police what you can and can't do on your private channels.
See, now, private channel is an entirely different thing, but there are morality clauses in certain contracts and organizations. Obviously, you won't ever see these type of things in boxing, but surprisingly enough, you will see it in the UFC.
Yeah,
the UFC has one. I'm pretty sure that there's one in play with the NBA as well. But that's not what we're talking about here, right? So it wasn't like they were gambling and they're like, hey, we're going to go beat these hookers up afterwards and we were going to make a night of it. Like, it's literally, it sounds like I won't say that on there.
Sounds like a very bad time. I'll speak for Steve.
Oh, horrible. I could see if somehow they were trying to make that argument, but they don't have the leg to stand on in that argument. The CDL being the they. So my private channel, which has no association with the league, off season, I'm playing against my buddy, and we're putting up not even a paper money bet. We're betting sneakers. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like, it would be one thing if they're like, yo, a G on air, I will bet you $1,000. Depending on what state they're in, that can still be considered illegal gambling. This is just an overbearing organization, and it reminds me of another overbearing organization, but I don't want to get hit up by their lawyers, but you don't have to think too hard. We cover them quite often here on this show that does weird stuff like this. Like, this has nothing to do with you. Stay out of it. Now you're cutting into my money on top of everything else you put players through. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. The sponsor stream thing, I think, is even more egregious to me. And it was in the off season, right? It was in between Modern Warfare 2019 Champs and when Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has come out. Scump did a sponsored stream for Raid Shadow Legends. Now, it's a mobile game. I get it. Not a huge fan. But they pay really, really well.
Yeah, they do.
And Scump got fined for it, and he couldn't do it apparently. Now, to me, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, if your guy can reach out into different markets and draw more eyes, then that's what you want them to do, right? You're not telling even the lowest tier NBA player, hey man, you can't go get a shoe sponsor. You have to wear your team shoe, right? They don't do that. Players can wear whatever shoe that they want at any given time, if for making money, whatever.
Yeah. There was a thing that happened. I can't remember what year. I'd have to look it up for you. Where there was, someone wore something outside of the Nike Reebok thing, and there was some situation. But you're 100% correct. Here's the problem, though, right, man? This is the part that's really getting me fired up right now. You want to be taken serious as a league, and you know what? I'm going to put my foot in my mouth in regards to the UFC, but you want to be taken serious as a sports organization, as a league, somewhere that's growing, and you're going to have professionals come in and compete on a professional level. You can't deny them the opportunity to make money outside of this on their off time, right? No, are you following me? You can't. So if the teams are paying them, not the league, right? If the
teams are paying, the league is not paying anything.
Then you're already in breach. You would have to show me something in the contract. Now, this is something I do know about contracts when it comes to sports. The league would have had to have written something into the contract with the teams stating beforehand that they can't do these things. You can't fine a person for something that's not in the rules or in some secondary contract that you have with the actual team. So this is just more bullshit on top of the bullshit that you put everyone through last year. So you're going to put it on the developers, you're going to put it on the players, and then on top of that, now you're going to start fining the players. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And you only do this type of dickhead shit when you feel like you're the only game in town. And that's the thing that sucks about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. I'm getting fired up.
No, continue. I have many thoughts about this, but I'm going to let you go first.
But it doesn't make sense, and this is the problem. This is the problem with this type of league, right? This is the problem where we're not even talking about what people are actually coming to see, right? Your game is trash. Your game has been trash for quite some time, so people are actually showing up to watch the players, and that's the danger right there, right? That's the one thing no league wants to admit. Not the NFL, not the NBA, and most certainly not the NBL. Like, they don't want to admit that people don't show up for the game. They show up to see the players playing the game, dude. And that's the bottom line. So what, you're going to fine them every business venture? So what's next? If I get a sponsor, there's some new language in the rules this year that says I can't have outside sponsors. I have to have approved sponsors. There's another organization that did some dickhead shit like that, and it was called the Reebok deal. And look at how that shit's going down in flames right now. I don't get when they do this type of bullshit. So and here's where they got them by the balls. They can't even go to a Bellator. You understand what I'm saying?
There is no Bellator, right?
Yeah, they can't even go to a competing
Activision swooped in and is now everything, right? They could have went back to MLG, but oh wait, Activision bought MLG. here's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Out of all of the people in the league, there is maybe one person that, in my opinion, is untouchable in the league, and that's Scump. Scump is one of the only players to have ever transitioned outside of the Call of Duty scene, right?
Right.
Crimsix hasn't done it. Shotzzy's will never do it. Hook won't do whatever. None of these people will do it. Scump had transcended the Call of Duty League long before the Call of Duty League had ever been made.
Right.
Nadeshot was the only other player to do it. There is no reason, especially for someone who brings in more eyes than any other player on the fucking roster.
Right.
Like, there is no reason to be doing this. There is no reason to be making Scump's life an issue. If Scump retires, the entire CDL viewership drops by 30%. And that is probably not far off from what would actually happen. There is a reason why the meme, when does OpTic play, is such a prevalent thing in the Call of Duty scene. Now, it was when would Huntman's play last year, but when Scump was on OpTic, it was always, when does OpTic play? When does OpTic play? When does OpTic play? Because they are the biggest draw within the Call of Duty League. Is the reason why they're the most subscribed YouTube channel in the Call of Duty League. They're the most followed Twitter page in the Call of Duty League, and no one else is fucking close other than 100 Thieves. But they're brand new and they came in with a big name.
You know what this boils down to, I think, hypothetically, allegedly, when a player transcends the league, right? Sure. And it's really maybe, like you just said, when he's the person that's drawing people into it, right? They always seem, to any league, they always seem to want to put a handcuff on you where it's like, let me show you your place. But in actuality, you really need to let these guys kind of fly. To quote Mark Wahlberg, because and the other guys, let him fly like a peacock. Let him fly.
Yeah. If you let Scump, like, let's be fair, right? And everyone has said it. When Scump retires, he will be a very successful streamer, and he'll make more money streaming than he ever did playing professional Call of Duty. But he's a competitor, right? And he's not ready to give it up yet. And I totally respect that. And for everyone that I've named so far, Crimsix, Shotzzy, who I actually respect all of you guys. Right? I'm fans of most of you, but you're just easy examples. So I mean, no ill will, but dude, in my opinion, the league is so fucked on this. They need to unionize. Scump needs to get on board with a players union, players association, so they could bargain this. And say, hey, listen, sure, during the season, they can't do these sponsored streams for other games. That's fine. But during the off season from X date until X date, then you can do whatever the hell you want, right? Because the championship is over. We're not into the new game yet. We're not practicing. We're not doing this. We're not doing that for the new game. It is your off season, right? From, I don't remember when Champs was, but until now, essentially, right, when the new game comes out, like, you should be able to do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
There is no reason. During the season, I understand. Listen, I don't want my number one player promoting another game while the season is going on, because it also looks bad if that team goes and loses that next weekend. It's like, oh, well, he was playing this other game this entire time, so I guess he didn't get practice in, but whatever.
Yeah, you saw that with Shroud when he was playing Counter-Strike professionally. People got pissed at him for playing what is this freaking game? PUBG. Yep. Now, that was just fans, though.
Sure.
You're saying, like, it wasn't like a league penalty, but
there is no Counter-Strike one league, right? There's 50 of them. This is a really, really bad oversight from the Call of Duty League, and I'm curious to see where they go, where they fix it. I'm sure he got fined multiple times for saying all this stuff. He's also had a number of complaints as to why there's no ranked playlist in a Call of Duty when it releases, as there should be. Every pro is complaining about skill-based matchmaking. Most of them at this point aren't even playing public matches anymore. They're only playing private scrims and private matches with friends.
I get it, because this is the same argument people make about private industry versus, your constitutional rights, which is you are able to say anything you want in America, freedom of speech. But when it comes to a privately owned business, you don't have those.
Activision's not privately owned; it's publicly traded.
Publicly traded, but you fall under their criteria, right? They could very well have they could very well have terms in play where it's like you can't speak ill of the company, you can't say this about your manager. It's nonsense. But the problem is with this whole scenario
It's
is
all nonsense.
it's all nonsense, dude. It's the problem with this scenario is that instead of spending so much time penalizing your players, right? How about you draw the fans back in? And I'm not dissing anyone that enjoys the games. I'm just talking to you as an outsider in. Why not address the issues of the actual game first, right? Why not address the issue that your players bringing up? So if they're going to unionize, that's going to happen whether or not you allow it to happen. I mean, you can't penalize them for attempting it to, but if they push it through in the courts determine that there should be a union based on your treatment of the players. Guess what's going to happen next? There's going to be there. Obviously, Activision will keep them tied up in litigation forever, but spend less time on that. That's why people are coming. You're not an established league where people are coming just for this. Dude. People are quite literally showing up to see the best play against the best. And I know it's like, well, you can't even make the comparison, right? It's just the truth.
It's too organized. New. It's too new. If this was 30 years into the league and the Call of Duty League was an established name,
and they had rotating rosters like with new up and coming talent,
you can make that argument. But Scump is like one of their tentpole players, right? Like you can't really look at that and go, man, we're gonna find him enough to where he in a tweet said that this was so bad for him that he considered retiring.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
If he retires, the Call of Duty League drops viewership. It'll go down a year in viewership in a year or two where it should be doubling what it was last year.
But see, most of the time, most of these public outbursts, I'll call, let's say we use that word, right? Most of the time when people can express these public concerns, players in these leagues, it's because they're not being heard by the actual league, right?
It's exactly what it is.
So let's say I've sent you, Zach, you're the commissioner, multiple emails through my agent. My agent's reached out to you for sit downs. It's like, hey, we need to address this. Other players are hitting you up and you keep shining everyone on. Guess what happens next? Motherfuckers start getting Twitter fingers, right? Because they feel like they're not being heard.
It's exactly what it is.
And this is the only way they got to hit you where it hurts. They got to bring it to the public's attention. And the only reason you're responding like this is because you're getting down votes on the actual game. So I'm going to come to your defense right now, Zach, right? You've taken a lot of heat from people on Twitter that I swear to God, if they said half the stuff they said to you, to me in person, there would be a felony happening that day. You only talk that tough when you're on Twitter, not talking about you, talking about some of the people that responded to you.
You're right, because I talk that tough in person too. me and Steve work together. I talk as much shit as online as I do. I talk more shit in person, to be fair.
Listen, video games are subjective to a certain point, right? But there are some objective failings in certain games. Like we can all objectively agree when there's a noticeable glitch in the game, right? We can all agree when the reality is that something doesn't play as well as it's supposed to. If you spent less time shitting on your players and you addressed their issues when they were brought to you in a prompt and fashionable manner, then guess what? They won't turn on you. It's the same thing with the UFC. We're not going there, but it's the exact same thing. Address the issue when it was brought to you, dude. So Scump leaves. Now you lose a viable commodity. He starts streaming full time.
The most viable commodity. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You lose that, right?
Yeah.
You lose that, and his career goes on. He becomes a martyr, which rightfully so. Now, in regards to organizing and union, most people don't join up the very first time, especially someone in Scump's situation. It's like, well, I got to weigh this out, man. I got to look at what you guys are, because joining a union doesn't mean that I'm joining a better deal. I need to know what the union represents, right? I need to know what terms we're seeking. Am I in agreement with this? I don't want to be a scab, but we all got to be on the same page. I'm glad that he's going to fall in line with this because they do need to be represented outside of the scope of their agents. Like there has to be things in play. I'm sorry, bro. This type of shit drives me nuts because it's literally someone in a boardroom somewhere who's completely disconnected, in my opinion, from the entire situation.
To be fair, I didn't see this. Hitch responded. Obviously, Hitch is a staple within the OpTic family. He was their videographer for the Vision series, and it's overall cool guy. Based on experience, the same people that hand out these bans are going to be bewildered when viewership drops 30% once you retire. You know, I didn't read that beforehand. I pulled 30% out of my ass, but I thought it was a good number. Me and Hitch are in agreement. So we're great people.
You've been doing that a lot lately, pulling numbers out, and I'm just like, wait, is that a real metric?
It sounds. They always sound very accurate. But it's definitely the truth, man. I don't understand what's going on with the CDL. I don't know what they think when they're doing this stuff, man. But
they're not.
I don't know.
They're not thinking, bro. They're not thinking. What they're thinking about is, I mean, they are thinking, but they're not thinking in regarding this situation. They're like, we're protecting the brand of the game. That's the bottom line. They can't have dudes poo-pooing on the game. And I get where they're coming from to that extent, where it's like, hey, this is the reason we're all gathered here. But the problem is it? Yeah. Is it really the reason we're all gathered here? Is it really the reason? Like, would you not go watch your favorite players play another game if they said, hey, as competitive, same group of people, we're just not putting up with that shit? Think about it for a second. I would jump ship in a second if every UFC fighter said we're going to Bellator. I wouldn't give two shits about it. I'm like, I'm going to watch the athletes.
Right. I'm going to watch my favorite players fight. If Khabib goes, hey, I'm coming back, but I signed a deal with the PFL, I guess I'm going to have to find a way to watch the PFL, right? Like, if it's all the same, right? We're going to make about 100 different references here that they're all going to mean the same thing. It's actually absurd what the CDL is trying to do, especially to the player that pulls in the most eyes, man. I don't know if there's another player that has 2.1 million followers in the CDL. I don't know who would even be in second. I bet you it's not Crim6. I'm not sure who it is, but if I just click around to a bunch of other players, I bet you there's no one at 1 million. The CDL itself doesn't have that many followers. It's true. I bet you Scump has more followers than teams combined. There's not, like, the Minnesota Rocker, good team. They played really, really well last year. Them combined don't have 2.1 million followers. It's just how it is, right? He's that big. He is that big.
This whole thing upsets me.
It bothers me to no end as well.
But so all right, let me ask you a few questions that have nothing to do with Scump, just in regard to the CDL. So
okay.
Switching over to PC, that's going to be the new platform. That's what everyone's going to be using. Where's it going to be hosted? Is it going back to YouTube?
Yeah, that's where it's going to be.
You see, already I'm just seeing the same mistakes. Like,
no, I think being on YouTube is good.
YouTube is good, but what are they going to do different in regards to promotion? I know this is a very niche market.
I think it was fairly successful last year.
Do you think so?
I would say that it was fairly successful. I thought for year one of a league, you got to remember, this isn't the OpTic versus Envy days, right? Yeah. This is different now. It's a league format. It's on one place. So you weren't around in 2012 or whatever. So Call of Duty as an esport should be probably 4 times the size that it is. I think it was 2012. Everyone was streaming on Twitch. Fucking, Nadeshot's the biggest thing on Twitch, 10, 12, 13,000 viewers on Twitch. Scump's 7, 8, 9, 10,000, whatever, right? Like, everyone was enormous. And then MLG is like, hey, we have a streaming platform now. Would you like to sign exclusive? We'll pay you this much amount of money. And everyone signed exclusive to MLG.TV. And viewership tanked worse than when everyone signed to Mixer. Right? Ooh. Like, Nadeshot went from 10,000 viewers to 500 or something on MLG TV. Like, I remember going, oh, it's on MLG TV? Okay, well, I guess I'm not watching this year of COD. Because the website was so much worse than Twitch. Right? I was like, all right, whatever, I'm out. And yeah, I mean, they ruined. Nadeshot is on record apologizing for ruining the esports scene around COD because of signing that deal and talking everyone else into signing it.
It sucks. Oh, really?
Yeah.
It sucks, man, because you're trying to make a career of this for yourself, and you want to be able to make money. You want to be able to sustain yourself. So you take risky, you make risky moves. But at the end of the day, man, this is where it's got to grow or it's got to die type of scenario, right? So they're kind of.
It won't die. It won't die. I think you woefully underestimate how big it actually is.
I don't woefully underestimate. I just know that it's in a transition period, same as the UFC, where it's like it's either going to go beyond Spike or it's not. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I know where you have, I know where it's been, and I know how good it has been. But we're talking about, can it be better than it was before, right? And I think one thing that's going to deter a lot of people, even if you don't think so, I think watching people crap on the best players is going to make a lot of people think twice about it. Now, of course, you're going to have people who just want to play, man, who want to be seen as the best, and they're going to pursue their dreams. But it's always going to be in their minds like, hey, man, they treated quite possibly the GOAT like shit.
They did. Now, he is the GOAT. And he hasn't won the most championships. That's fair.
Right.
But, when you go to the Call of Duty League YouTube channel, there's a reason Scump is in the headline. He's on the little upper bar. It's him and Crim6 because it's the best rivalry in esports at the moment. But there's a reason why Scump is up there, because it's how important he is to it. The off-season tournaments, the last two, have done 160,000 views apiece. They're off-season tournaments, and they're very, very low value off-season tournaments, and they're still doing, good views. So I think actually being on YouTube is very good. Is very, very good for them.
Is Scump the Stipe of the CDL?
Scump's the John Jones of the CDL.
Scump is the John Jones.
Well, so you gotta remember, you gotta go back 10 years of history for this.
Okay, lay it out.
Scump probably has the best raw talent as a player that has ever competed in professional Call of Duty. I would say I've watched a lot of Call of Duty. I really, really have. Scump is probably the best raw talent. I don't think he has the most championships. Crim6 probably has the most championships, like 37 or something, whatever it is. But if I'm in a pressure situation and it's 1v3, I probably choose Scump 10 times out of 10 over Crim6. Not because Crim6 is a terrible player, but I've seen Scump perform in that a number of times, right? When it comes down to the line, down to the wire, down to that, round 11 search and destroy, I have my money on Scump, and that's just how it is. He is absolutely. Now Crim6 is the DJ. Clayster is the Khabib, right? Like, these guys are all like up there as considered like the best of all time. But as far as pure raw talent and the best player we've ever seen on a professional roster, that is Scump. It definitely is.
Who's the Stipe?
The guy that, oh man, the issue is with Stipe. Stipe's not will never be considered the GOAT. He might be potentially the best heavyweight of all time, but he'll never be in the conversation for the absolute best of all time. Let's give it to Big T, maybe the big timer.
Okay. Now you're making a lot of sense, man. You're making a lot of sense. Except for you. This is what needs to happen. We've gotten to the according to Steve part of the show, man. Union, better contracts. Someone needs to crack open the books on the actual contract that the CDL has with the actual team owners, because I need to see something. I need to see something in paper, in writing, not you, Zach. I need to see something that says legally they can do this. Because if Scump just rolls over, and I'm not saying he's rolling over.
I don't think Scump has paid a fine yet. I think the team is picking it up. I would say that NRG is picking it up, in my opinion.
Hecz is sitting there like, come on, please stop.
I don't know how much the fines are. No, I think so. When Hecz brought Scump on the podcast, after he got fined the first or second time, he said, "Don't worry what you say. I'll pick up the fines." Like, Hecz is that guy. So
that's absolutely amazing,
man. I don't know, dude. It's such a fucky situation. So I did pick Minnesota.
You
And
did?
I looked at all of their Twitter followings. Yeah, they're not even half of what Scump is combined. You know, Attach is the most at 400,000, and then it's 50,000, 86,000, and 62,000. Right? Like,
And I get it. It's a symbiotic relationship where like Scump is successful because of the game, and the game can be more successful because of Scump. But at the same time, it's at a place now with this market where if Scump decided to step away from the game, people enjoy his personality enough, according to me, where they would watch him play another game. I
sure.
sat down and watched a 2-hour stream. This is from like maybe a year or something ago of him playing Apex. So I just wanted to see how he did in other games. And I can tell you, I stopped paying attention to the gameplay. It was obviously front and center. He's murking people in the game, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's pretty good. But I started paying more and more attention to his personality because I'm like, oh, well, he's actually entertaining. He's funny. He makes references that I get. You know, the whole you hate to see it thing. That's a reference to a very famous sports commentator who says stuff. Who said it way too much. You hate to see that play, Bob. You just hate to see it.
Yeah.
And I think holy shit, man. I wish we didn't talk about this shit. It's just, it doesn't make any sense, man. We're getting to a point where athletes or esports athletes or otherwise, they're still living in the Jack Johnson days where greedy ass promoters and owners screw these dudes they screw them over bad. Did you watch boxing like I told you to the other night?
No.
I knew you would.
Was it Terrence Crawford, right? Fucking ended that dude in the 4th round.
He did. That guy should have never been in the ring with Terrence Crawford.
That's a
But
that's a good point.
The point is Bob Arum is his promoter, right? And Bob Arum is treating Crawford the same way he treated Floyd Mayweather in his earlier, back when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. This all ties into Scump, I promise you.
Okay.
You know what wound up happening with that? Floyd changed the game and just said, oh, well, maybe a promoter is an antiquated thing, or at least having
and
a
he
promoter.
started promoting his own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want more people to take that approach to their careers, man. And it's like, I know that Scump will make that transition, but I hope he stands up for the next group of people coming up behind him, dude.
I think that's what the tweets were, right? He's trying to do that. Scump's not long for this league. He's come out and said that he has a year or two left. He's competed at the highest level since he was like 16 or whatever in Call of Duty, right? He's just older than me. He's probably 24, 25. That's a long time for an esports player. You know, they don't have long careers. Their careers are 4 to 6 years. And Scump probably could compete well past that. I don't think the people running the CDL understands the player base. They don't understand the fan base, and they definitely don't understand the commodity that they have in Scump. The day that Scump goes, okay, I'm done, is literally the viewership for the CDL will drop. Once he can go into full-time content creation and make more YouTube videos and make, more streams, who cares, right? Like this will all be by him. But this is a bad precedent being set going forward for other players, and I hope that gets resolved quickly.
Let's get into the next segment of this whole thing. I know you briefly said it, but I just want to get you on the record. Pick a shot. Who's taking it all this year? Just say it one more time so we have it on the record.
I don't have 100 Thieves official roster in front of me. I bet you they put up a very, very competitive roster. I bet you Dallas takes it again. I bet you Empire. So? Yeah, they have a very, very good team. I don't like the drop of Clayster, and especially don't like it the way that they did it to a legend like Clayster. But I think their team is probably even stronger now than what it was, and I bet you that they're going to be hard to beat. That's what it is.
Do you think Chicago OpTic gives them a run for their money like they did last time? Is it going to be
I think the top 3 is going to be very competitive. The top 3 are going to be Atlanta, Dallas, and Chicago. And I think that's a very, very competitive top 3. And I think that is going to be the top 3 for the next few years. But I think Dallas wins it again.
Another question. I've always wanted to ask you this, but I always forget to ask. How does one go about recruiting new players for the CDL? Like teams, individual. Like where's the pool at?
So there's an amateur league associated with the CDL. And then also like these guys are running what they call eights, where they get 8 people in a lobby and they just like do pickup games.
Okay.
And if you know a guy who knows a guy, you can get into one of these lobbies. And if you're a good player, then you're on the radar of the players. So there's no like, the coach isn't going out and going, hey, we should pick these players. It's the players because they play with these guys all the time, right? So
Makes a lot of sense.
that's where it comes from. Streams, right? Like I'm sure, streaming now, if you're a very, very good player and you're doing scrims like as a streamer, then that helps, right? You got to get your name out there, essentially.
Okay.
It's hard. It's hard.
So it's not like old school basketball, some little old guy in a little jacket with a top hat smoking a cigar, just wandering around basketball courts.
No, it's not like that at all. I don't think that guy wasn't a recruiter, Steve. I hope you stayed away from him.
Well, I got in a van. I don't remember much.
Right, there's no like college leagues. There's no
right.
college leagues yet, right? Some esports do have that. Rocket League has that. I think League of Legends and Counter-Strike to some extent have that as well. But as of right now, the Call of Duty stuff is pretty much just is what it is at the moment.
We can get you trained up, man. We get you in there. We'll get you a couple of MMA fights first, right? See if I can make some money off of you that way. If that doesn't work out, then we'll get you into the CDL, something a little less low impact, right? Low impact. But after getting strangled in a professional fight, you won't take any shit off of anyone. You don't take much shit off of anyone now. But then it's like, well, what is this guy gonna do to me, right? You'll be beating nerds up all day long at the thing, dude. Who are they gonna use for the announcers this year?
Maven and Merc and whatever the same crew was last year, I assume.
Okay. How are they going to do it? Are they bubbling up?
Doubt. I think it's online.
Ooh.
I think it's online.
It'll
be different with PC because they'll be able to do dedicated servers. But not much different.
And Zach, what do you think about 60 frames per second on next gen console?
I think it's ridiculous. I think they should go back to 30 where they belong.
Did you know that you, in case you have a PS5 PS5 only, actually, if you're wondering why your Cold War looks like it's a PS4 version, you have to click the 3 little dots that says,
and change it to the PS5 version, right?
Yeah. Dude, here's the thing. You said you were struggling not to buy the game today. Now, what could possibly, after all the venom, vitriol, all the things you said horrible about that game and my grandmother, what would make you want to buy that game, dude?
It's just normalcy.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. I have it. In 10 years, this is the only game I haven't purchased.
You're going through withdrawals. That's what we call that in the industry.
Remember how I was saying I was looking for a mindless shooter?
Yeah.
That's what Call of Duty is.
You can play Godfall. It's pretty fun. It's not a shooter.
It's not a shooter. I just played Divinity.
You just walked through that game, by the way. How long you guys started playing? Like how many weeks ago?
Divinity? We played for 65 hours. What do you mean? It took us 65 hours to beat the game.
I feel like you guys just started playing that, man.
October.
How long were you get? Oh, okay.
No, maybe before the September.
Okay. Not too.
We played it like a lot. We played 65 hours to beat the game. The last fight alone took us 8 hours.
That sounds amazing.
It's hard. It's hard. 8 hours isn't like, okay, all right, we're starting the fight, and then 8 hours later we finish the fight. No, it's like, oh, well, actually that guy hit Shane first, and we actually want him to hit the other character first, so we got to reset. And then it's like, oh, well, actually, first move should be not to fly away. It should be, we got to damage this guy. It's I don't know. It's going to be boring for the show, but
there's a new Battlefield coming out pretty soon, huh?
Next year. This time next year.
Yeah, you're screwed, man. Just buy the game, bro.
I don't think I am. I go back and forth on it about 138 times a day.
No, we'll play Destiny. We'll play that other game when it comes out, the one we always forget the name to, and
it's probably out already. You'll have to find it. Well, the workout comes out next week. So for the audio video live stream listeners here, thanks guys everyone for being here as always. Next Monday there will be no official Talking with a Dad episode. We would be having episode 77. It will not be happening.
What will we have instead of that, Zach?
I will be live streaming my experiences with Shadowlands. I will be attempting server first max level mage. So be here for that. And then I'm going to be running through all of the dungeons as well.
What time are you going on?
So the game launches at 6. I'll probably be on screwing around by about 5:30.
5:30 p.m., correct?
Yes. PM. Eastern. That's 3 or 2:30 for you West Coasters.
Can the people send you donations anywhere? Do you need hot dogs?
No, don't send me anything.
Don't send you.
Don't send me anything. Don't at all. Show up, like the channel, like the stream, subscribe, do all that stuff, but don't come in here sending me hot dogs. I will not be eating them.
Folks, you can find us at IG Talking with a Dad, Facebook Talking with a Dad, website is Talking with a Dad, Anchor Talking with a Dad, all one word. Same thing for Spotify, Overcast, Google Podcast, all the casts.
It gets long, dude. It's on your favorite podcasting app. It's on your favorite social media application.
But we are not on Podbean. Someone hit me up about that. You will not find us on there. I think if you search us through there, we don't come up sometimes or all the time.
No, we do come up on Podbean, but it's the old version of the show.
The older episodes.
Get a better podcasting app. Get Podcast Addict. Get Spotify. I don't fucking know. Just don't. And if you get away from Podbean.
Join the Discord. If you have topics you want us to talk about, hit us up in the Discord. The chat's been jumping off in the Discord. Shout out to our contributors and our day ones. We really do appreciate you folks. And make sure you tune in for the stream next week with Zach, Monday. All right, tune in.
I'll be here.
Goodbye.